I watched a very interesting video this morning, and it was entitled, "Why Doesn't God Destroy the Devil to End All Evil?" I'm going to address that because that really is a very interesting question, but one that can be easily answered as well. Now, the assumption is that if one destroys Satan the devil, that will end all evil. That is not the case. And the reason why is because the evil and wickedness and sin is already in us. So destroying the devil is not going to end, as the video title said, end all evil. For example, let's say if God destroyed the devil, like right now. All right, he's out of the picture, but we still remain. And what's in us? What's in us is an infection. And that infection is evil and wickedness and sin. The assumption with this video is that the devil is making us do things, that the devil is responsible for all the heinous atrocities in the world, the things that people do to one another, and this is not true. I'm not saying the devil has not influenced evil. That's obvious. But we must look to ourselves. We must not take the path of least resistance. Did the devil make Cain kill his brother Abel? No. Cain did that on his own because of a sinful nature, jealousy, envy, or whatever. So likewise today, we must take responsibility for the things that we do and not easily cast them off onto the devil as if he's making us do these things. See, now Christianity for a large part teaches this, that the devil is making people do things. And incidentally, this YouTube content creator who put up that video, he is a air quote Christian. So you see that mentality is there, that if God destroyed the devil, that would automatically end all evil. No, it won't, because we remain. We need to be fixed or cured. And that's the purpose of Christ's future 1,000-year kingdom over the earth, that he's going to restore us to our Creator. Now, let's go back a little bit. Let's say back in the Garden of Eden, where the serpent did a very bad thing. He lied on God. He challenged God's sovereignty over the earth and God's right to rule his creation, man even. Now, suppose God had, at that point in time, destroyed the devil. Would that have answered that question? You see, when the serpent was having that conversation with the woman, and he told her that she would not die if she ate the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, you see, he lied on God, because God told the man, and who told his wife, that in the day that they eat the fruit from that tree, that they would die. But keep in mind that there are myriads of angelic hosts who are observing this event, and they're listening in. The serpent challenged God. The serpent called God a liar. Now, if God had, say, zapped and wiped the serpent off the face of the earth and the universe, that question would have been in the back of the minds of the angels even up to this day and for all eternity. It's like God is removing the evidence. Suppose the serpent was telling the truth, and suppose it is God himself who's lying. You see, the serpent was basically telling the woman that God is withholding from you and your husband. He's fearful that if you eat the fruit from the tree of the knowledge of good and bad, that you will become like him, knowing good and bad for yourselves. In other words, mankind would not need God to rule over them, to govern over them, because man would know for himself what is good and what is bad. And that is the status that we are in today. We think that we know what is good for ourselves. We believe that we can successfully rule and govern over ourselves apart from God. That's why we see all these many countries, governments, man ruling man. That question had to be settled. So if God had destroyed the serpent back then, that question would have never been answered. That issue would not have been settled. So only time would settle the issue. So God allowed his creation man to rule himself and govern over himself to see how that would turn out. And that would answer the question whether or not God was lying or God was telling the truth. Now, is it not true that we grow old, get sick, and die? Yeah. Is it not true that we've made a mess of things, that we cannot successfully rule ourselves? We stumbled from one calamity into another, war, disease, and the list goes on and on. The inhumanity towards one another is off the chain. Time has revealed that God was telling the truth, that we do die, that's evident, and that man cannot rule himself successfully apart from God. It has not been given to us, it has not been encoded in us to govern one another. It'd be like the blind leading the blind. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Look at all the wars in the past. Look at things such as the Spanish Inquisition, the Crusades, the Salem witch hunts, the transatlantic slave trade, and all the many atrocities that has occurred in the history of mankind. We are murderers. We're killers. We're terrible. Yet you have those who want to blame it on the devil. The devil doesn't have to do anything. We're doing it. So the question has been answered. God told the truth long ago. That in the day that you eat the fruit from this tree, you will die. And that we are not able to govern ourselves. And the serpent had lied. So when God does destroy Satan the devil, none of the angelic hosts are going to say that what God did to the serpent or the devil was unjust. They know that when God destroys the devil in future days, that would be a just act, because the devil lied on his own creator. So that's why God didn't destroy the devil long ago. Plus, we have been infected with the virus of sin and death, and they become diseases that spread throughout the history of mankind. So we have to be fixed. So removing the devil doesn't automatically end all evil, as the video is entitled, and the YouTube content creator was attempted to explain to those who are listening. This is R. Jerome Harris. Thank you for listening.